Harry vs. Charles, the truce is off. Time for Sussex to receive the final punishment. King Charles III's cancer crisis adds unexpected fuel to the royal family feud with Prince Harry. Is this the end, or is the battle with freeloader still long? Join me to discuss this now. Nice to see you again on LVT News channel. 4 years have passed since Harry and his narcissistic, evil, greedy wife Meghan Markle stepped down from their positions as senior royals and moved away to California. Visitors to their new website, Sussex.com, may be tricked. Launched on February 11, the Uniform Resource Locator relies heavily on Harry and Meghan's Duke and Duchess titles, and it even goes so far as to feature the official coat of arms that Meghan was gifted after she married into the royal family. So that, in addition to Harry's response to learning about his father's cancer diagnosis, is not sitting very well with the family. An insider recalls Harry flew to London but only spent 30 minutes with his dad at Clarence House before rushing off to Las Vegas to present at the National Football League honors. The insider knows that Harry could have easily cancelled his award show appearance, but he chose not to. The insider goes on to say the visit came off as more of a PR stunt than a son who was seriously concerned. Now, whatever truce Harry and Charles may have had, it's over. As we reported in the past, Charles and Harry started off 2024 on relatively good terms. So after years of repeatedly trashing his royal relatives in TV interviews, in the Netflix docuseries, and in his memoir Spare, the source explains Harry reached out, adding that Charles was, quote, more than receptive. The father-son bond they share never went away, and they were able to mend things pretty quickly. Prince William, of course, has been feeling betrayed by Harry, and he's not happy that Harry was so easily welcomed back into the fold, according to the insider. But the insider claims that William is hardly gloating about being right about Harry in the end. Quote, William was livid that Harry's trip home to England was so short. It's no secret that he and other royals feel Harry has dropped the ball when it comes to supporting Charles, both in his role as king and now during his health crisis. In fact, the only time Harry really pretends to care about his family is when the family can directly benefit himself and Meghan Markle. The insider says they continue to want the perks of being members of the monarchy, but don't want anything to do with the actual royals. The insider also points out that Harry did not seem to check in on his sister-in-law, Princess Catherine, who is still recovering after abdominal surgery and a 2-week stay in the hospital in January. The source goes on to say it's very sad, and there also does not seem to be a way forward. The insider muses most families, no matter their underlying issues, come together during hard times, not the royals. The fact is nobody in the UK or in the Commonwealth are dying because the King and Princess of Wales are ill. They're going to get better eventually. All charities associated with the royal family are doing great. Bringing in Harry, and definitely Meghan too, would be a huge mistake. Harry chose to leave, that was his choice, and he has told so many hateful lies about his family since then, and made a lot of money in the process. I mean, just imagine bringing Harry back into the fold again. It would be such a bad decision. Harry and Meghan would make absolutely sure that they document every single thing they do. They would turn it into a bestseller with a lot of exaggerations to boot, and they would dine out on this expense for years, spilling every little detail they possibly could. It would be an absolute catastrophe for the royal family. In other news, Camilla is still working hard, and William has certainly stepped up to the plate. When William showed up to the BAFTAs recently, boy did he look handsome. I'm sure Harry couldn't stand that. Harry's always been jealous of his older brother's looks. A funny little thing to add here too, Harry and Meghan, as part of their offer to help temporarily while King Charles and Catherine are indisposed, was to offer to take over the BAFTA presentation. Oh yeah, thanks a lot you two. I can just see the two of them rubbing their hands with glee at the idea of getting to hang out with real celebrities. But see, the A-listers in the US don't want anything to do with them. It just shows how sincere that offer was, goes to show, yet again, how incredibly self-centered they are. It's all about them, all the time. It's all about their image, their reputation, them trying to pretend to be relevant. A really dumb offer, because they know good and well, William has been president and patron of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts since 2010, not King Charles. So anyway, any senior manager worth anything is going to inform you, you gotta get ready for all eventualities, and you work to your strengths. Harry and Meghan are simply not a strength. Instead, they're a threat, they're a danger, they're a liability, and so they need to be dealt with properly. Sometimes, maybe you gotta reduce your spread and you gotta work with what you've got until new assets are up to speed, but you're never gonna rely on your second best to cover a shortfall. Succession planning is a constant in a well-run company, and I'm sure the palace has it all under control. And sometimes, maybe you do have to be heartbroken for a little while in order to save your soul. While the actions of Meghan and Harry have certainly broken the hearts of not only their families, but so many people in the UK and the Commonwealth, and really all around the world, their behavior has only served to save people they tried to destroy. They have let all of us know exactly who they really are, and boy are they some disgusting people. The royal family, meanwhile, is doing better than ever. They are even more beloved because of this betrayal by one of their own. Meghan and Harry, though, have only become more and more irrelevant with each passing day. And I understand this has to be painful for the royal family, but it might be time to just move on. They can forgive them, but they can't let the two of them back in. They cannot forget what Harry and Meghan have done. I mean, the betrayal that would come if they were allowed to return is too much to bear. Harry and Meghan have made their bets. It's time for them to reap what they have sown. And it seems like the two of them are completely unhinged anyway. Now, they've always lived in a fantasy world, but that First Nation caper, I mean, come on, I think that just goes to show how desperate they are. They are panicked because they're so desperate to be back in the royal fold, and there's no way back in. Reportedly, their Archibald charity is also under investigation. Harry's also got the visa case happening. The backup people abused by African Parts charity scandal is happening, too. What about their financial woes and the contract failures? Harry's ongoing legal cases, the legal bills. And eventually they're going to have to face up to this whole scandal involving the invisible children and the moon bump, their public irrelevance to the royal family, their silence over lies, the allegations in Endgame. Harry and Meghan have a lot on their plate right now, and it's nothing I'd want on mine. Everybody knows that serious illness can disrupt anybody's life. But I don't think many of us would understand why Harry is valuable to the royal family at all. Harry has gone out of his way to prove that he's not valuable to them. He doesn't even like the people who make up the royal family. A long time ago, he also said that he didn't even like Britain. To me, it's pretty obvious. Send him away. Don't let him come back. As they say, hindsight is 20/20. And when we think back, we can see that every formal engagement Harry and Meghan attended as representatives of the Queen had so many problems that were not easy to fix, from the all-night session of banana bread to wanting the whole house of the head of Australia instead of just a suite of rooms. I mean, the problems were there from the very beginning. And remember when Meghan threw hot tea on a staff member because she didn't think that he was hot enough, and she has refused to meet people she thought she wasn't gonna like. The list goes on and on. Whoever put Harry and Meghan in another place working for the now king, that would be the stupidest person in this world. And I don't think anybody is that dumb. I mean, Harry and Meghan have proven that they're not appropriate for the monarchy. They're simply unsuitable. They have shown themselves to be a couple of charlatans. I mean, they claim to be philanthropists, but they only care about serving themselves. And they make such a mess everywhere they go with this look at me attitude. And they're always spewing all kinds of false information with a lot of word salad for distraction to hide the real agenda behind them. And you know what? Neither one of them can lie straight in bed if their life depended on it. They had their chance to be successful. They had their chance to be valuable members of the royal family. They didn't want to. They got too big for their britches. And over again, they were told they were never going to be more important than William and Catherine. Well, they couldn't put up with that. They wanted to be abusive towards the staff. They were told they couldn't do that. So Meghan decided to leave in a huff and take Harry with her. Well, good riddance. The arrogance and the stupidity of the two of them to believe they could just waltz back in after being so cruel, so unkind, betraying the royal family. Of course, they can't just be let back in. That really might spell the end of the monarchy. If those two are allowed back in, people are going to decide the monarchy is worthless, that it's too corrupt, and people would probably be right. So it's incredibly important that Harry and Meghan remain on the outside, and I think they will. And I know that right now there is a problem with a number of working royals because after all, the late Queen had so many cousins to help her. So a large court including Prince Philip, Margaret and the Queen Mother were working hard behind the scenes. But still, Charles is doing fine. He's supported by Queen Camilla and his siblings and also William and the Princess of Wales. Now maybe this is going to be a smaller working monarchy, but it's still strong. I think they are all more than capable of dealing with a treacherous duo. The British media should really also unite behind the royal family and stop promoting any positive articles about the traitorous two. Furthermore, William also has many cousins who I'm sure are stepping up to the plate behind the scenes. I would love to see a few of them become more visible supporters too. The entire family, minus those two living in California, are very close and there's so much love and respect between all of them. Now Beatrice does a lot of charity work quietly behind the scenes. She's not a media attention hog though. They have been so involved in charities that focus on dyslexia, scoliosis, because they themselves suffered from those conditions and other people too. Now Beatrice has also been photographed at art-related charities. I don't believe any of the cousins should be punished for loving their cousin and hoping that he would return.